on, and we will get. There we go. We should be all set to go now. We are going. Hey guys, we've had a good start to the year. It's actually kind of cool and nice out here, and I think this is going to be the year we finally open. Thank God, So that's a good thing. So see if we can get things roaring here. Let's see if we can get some people on here. I'm a little bit early tonight, but we will see how many people we can get on here tonight. Okay, we got 2 people. Who we got on here now? Get the things rolling here. All right, who's on here now? Get things rolling. Wait a couple seconds here to just get a couple people on here. Yeah, we went out to the market. We bought a lot of fruit for New Year's, and then we went up to Mall of Asia today. And Mall of Asia was pretty quiet today. The other day we went to the mall, it was packed. Things are changing at the malls, actually, compared to the last 2 years. We've had a lot of good years. See, Maximus is on here. Good, we're getting some of the regulars on here, so that's good. And Justin Mays, hello and Happy New Year from Pennsylvania. Justin, you must be a newbie. It's good to see you on here, man. Let's see who else we can get on here. We got 10 people on here, 3 thumbs up already. Let's see. Smoky Mountain Modeler, there we go. Good evening. Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year's to you also, Smoky. Let's see, get a couple more people on here and we'll get rolling. Get some questions going. Scott says, wow, it's the great Steve. Thanks, man. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't been on here. Was I on here? I wasn't on here last Saturday because it was the holiday. And then I was on once before that, and then I was off because I wasn't feeling good one time. Let's see, I think it was. But we've been doing pretty good. 15 people. Let's see if we can get some questions on here. How was the weather today, Steve? Scott says. The weather was awesome, actually, here. We've had several dry days, and it hasn't been hot or anything. Now, when I was up in Manila, it was hot. But when you're here in Tracy, it's actually very kind of, I won't say it's chilly, but it's cooler than the norm. So it feels kind of funny walking around and you're not sweating. Let's put it that way. So who else we got on here? We got 15 people on here, so let's see if we can get some names up there. Let's see. We actually got some strawberries today, I noticed here on the table, which is unusual. My girlfriend found them somewhere. I'm not sure where she got them, but that's like a rarity here. Let's see. Southern Lady Life. There we go. We got another vlogger on here. Good morning, Steve. Happy New Year. Strawberries. Yum. Yeah. Actually, I love strawberries, man. Sometimes you get strawberries in the frozen packs, and you can make them into a great strawberry shortcake, which is great. See, Scott says, there is an area around you that starts with a D. Das Marinas you're thinking of, Scott. I think it is. I think you're thinking of Das Marinas. John Miller says, Happy New Year from warm, rainy Pennsylvania. That sounds like fun. Maximus says, not many gatherings here for New Year's Eve because the Omicron. Yeah, I heard about that. We don't have much of that going on around here that I know of. Let's see. Know a few friends sick from COVID, but mild symptoms. Smoky Mountain Model says, my friend in Davao said that it was on the cool side there for Mindanao. Probably was. Yeah, because around Christmas it starts cooling off usually. Let's see. Mark Crampit says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, sir. Let's see. Zer is on here. He says, hi, Steven. Nice to see you live. It's good to be back on live. I didn't put a video out today because I was so busy. So I figured I'd just wait to do the live stream. Let's see. Scott says, Das Mananas. No, it's Das Marinas. Das Marinas, not Das Mananas. Okay. How far away am I from it? I don't know, about 30 minutes, something like that. Tom Pear is on board. That's good to see you, Tom. Today is the day that eat collard greens, black-eyed peas, and cornbread in the South. Do they have a New Year's special thing they eat in the PI? Yeah, chicken. Everything's chicken, man. Seems that way. Today we actually went to the steakhouse. We went to Texas Roadhouse today, Tom. So it was a good day. We had a lot of fun. Let's see, we went to Mall of Asia. We went to Texas Road. The mall actually opened up late when we got there. We had to wait till 12 o'clock for them to open. Was it 12 or 11 or 12? I forget which, but they opened up later than usual. John Miller says, any chance USA ends up on red list? I wouldn't be surprised, okay, but with this Omicron, I mean, if the world wakes up, I think people will just open their borders and say, let's just get it over with because it's not a big deal. And nobody's going to the hospital really that I've heard of too much, except to get the test done or whatever. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I really haven't paid much attention to the COVID stuff because it's got kind of, crazy lately. So it's just off my radar now. Ken Roach says, we were hit but not damaged by the typhoon here in Cebu province. I heard a lot of people got some serious damage in a lot of areas. Gurkha says, Happy New Year. Strawberries from Baguio. Maybe, probably, yeah. Mark Crampit says, I have lost the sound. That's not on my end, Mark. I'm not sure. Let's see. Scott says, my psychic friend said March 2022, the pandemic will be done, but the new headlines will be inflation. Yeah, inflation, man, I might even do a video about that soon because it's eating us up over here too, quite a lot actually. It's getting kind of bad. Gene Carroll puts up VASF.tech. Must be a stock. Let's see. Buyer of Sorts says Biden is in love with this whole COVID thing. It gives him ample opportunity to show the world how much he cares and what a saint he is. Maybe. Francisco Fletes says, hello, how you doing, Francisco? Tom Pierce says, before you eat the strawberries, put them in a bowl of salt water. You will not believe how many worms are in a strawberry. I can believe it. You know, I heard that too, but I never heard about the putting them in salt water. Ang Hubby MSM, Happy New Year, Steve. Enjoyed your videos in 21. Keep them coming in 22. We will. We have a lot of good. I wrote down some good subjects the other day, so we got some good subjects coming up pretty soon. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, I'm hoping to make the trip in July instead of October. Now, hope the borders are open. I think this is good. I mean, this has to be the year because things are slowing down. Malls are opening up. People are walking around. Head shields are gone. Masks, I think, will be part of our life probably for a good 2 to 3 years, probably is my thought, okay? At least when you're walking around and going to malls and restaurants and stuff like that, I think that's going to be just part of life, unfortunately. And I think if you work in a restaurant, it might be part of our lives forever. So, let's see. Smoky Mountain Model says, I'm hoping to make the trip in July. Let's see, he already said that. Let's see. Scott says, block Gene Carroll. It is a spam bot, Steve. I'm not sure if it is or not, unless it's you guys seeing something I don't see. I'm not sure. Buyer of Sorts, but then you lose that yummy worm flavor. Yeah, the protein flavor, right? Buyer of Sorts says, let's see, wait. James Curlew, Happy New Year. I'm officially retired and free to start planning our move to the PI. There you go, James. That's good. See, we got 37 people, 13 thumbs up. Buyer of Sorts says, is the quarantine for Americans still 5 days or is it more? You know, I had a guy come in the other day, Kenny. He's the newest expat to our group here. He lives right down the street here. He's the one that moved into one of those apartments there. He got in to do his SRRVs, just waiting for the passport to come back and his ID card. Now, he just got here and he was 5 days in quarantine, okay? And what happened was after that, he had to go for another 10 days sitting in home quarantine. Okay, they told him he had to do 10 days, and I guess they put like a tracker on your phone or something like that. So it's a total of 15, but you don't have to pay for the lockdown in the hotel room on the second one. And you can go out to buy food and stuff like that, but you just can't. You're supposed to stay home as much as possible. It's kind of like a half quarantine, I guess, because you can go out, you can go food shopping and get your food and any necessities you need, but other than that, you're not allowed to go out. So, but let's see. But he stayed in the whole 10 days. He said he wanted to stay in for the whole 10 days. He was afraid that he was going to be breaking something, so he had me run out. But that's cool. Let's see. Tom Pierce says, have you heard of a reputable place to donate money to the provinces that were hardest hit by the typhoon? You know, Tom, a lot of people have been asking me that. That's actually a great question. Some people say UNICEF. UNICEF is supposed to be a great place, but I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I mean, people have asked if they can make donations to me and have me make it for them, but I don't know who to make it to because I just don't have the time to research that stuff because I'm researching other stuff and I'm busy with my family. But yeah, I haven't heard anything. The only one I think UNICEF might be okay, but I'm not even sure of that. You know, Maximus says 5 days hotel and 9 days at home if you're coming from America. Yeah, that's about what he had. Buyer of Sorts says thanks for the answer. You're welcome. Sperlin Edwards says hello from foggy morning Connecticut. There we go. How you doing, Sperlin? Good to see you on here, man. I see we got 20 thumbs up, 40 people on here. We're doing good, man. We're gonna have a good show tonight. Let's see. We're probably gonna run all the way up till maybe 11:30, depending on how many people we get on here. So I know it's a holiday day, but I figured I'd come on here anyway because I know some of you guys still want to get on here, and I know I kind of wanted to get on here today too because we missed last week. So, but yeah, we got some. I'm gonna be doing some shows from over at the park and stuff like that soon, like we usually do, the talks and chats and stuff like that. We got some interesting topics that I come up with over the past week. Scott says, "How many kids do you have, Steve?" Well, I have 2 kids. Okay. Here, I have my daughter's, my girlfriend's daughter, and we have a little boy here too that we kind of adopted into the family. Okay, and it's actually my girlfriend's nephew, but there's a long story that goes with it too. So, but we kind of adopted him into the family. Otherwise, he would have been in the streets. So it's kind of a sad story too. So let's see. Scott, let's see. Justin says, Tom Pear, YouTuber Chrissy K in Leyte Province. They document all donations. 100% of the money gets straight to the folks who need it. Justin, are you talking about UNICEF? Because I think that's UNICEF you're talking about. I think you are anyway, because I'm not sure. Because I know with the Red Cross, it's not 100%. Or it wasn't anyway before. They had a thing on 60 Minutes about that. Let's see. Smoky Mountain Model says, most people are recovering from amateur night this morning. Yeah, amateur night. I remember those days. See, Patrick Glenn, I like your channel better than the Sunshine Knees and Elbows channel. Thanks, Patrick. Let's see. Actually, John Wales is actually a friend of mine. We talk once in a while. I've never met the guy, but he's a nice guy, See, John Miller, after 5 days quarantine, can I stay in Manila for a few extra days before going to my final destination? Yes, absolutely. They'll move you in the hotel to a different room if you want to, or you better off to move to a different hotel, to be honest with you. Most of those quarantine hotels are not that nice. I talked with Kenny about that, and I actually went to the hotel, and it was more like a hospital ward with the way the people were dressed there. It was kind of scary. I was like, man, everybody was suited up. I could only go so far. Kenny was sitting there with his mask on when I walked in to get him, and it was just kind of surreal, and then we got him in the car and got him out of there as quick as we could. So I'm sure he was bored after 5 days in there. Justin Mays, don't think so. Let's see. Southern Leyte Life's Chrissy K is a YouTuber with Tim K. Okay. Mark Krampus, UNICEF is definitely not 100%. Okay. Brian Adams says, Happy New Year, Steve. Justin Mays says, yes, Southern Leyte Life. Sperlin Edwards, I'm doing medical appointments this week. FBI paperwork already sent in. That's good, Sperlin. Get all that stuff done, man, and then you can get over here. The quicker the better, because we have a lot of people getting in here. I've been telling people if a lot of people really wanted to get in here, they should have started doing the SRRV a long time ago, because we got a lot of people showing up in batches. They put them in batches, and the batches could be any number from like 5 to 10 or whatever the amount is, But it's cool that we see people getting in here, which is interesting. Let's see. Tom Pear says, would it be any advantage to ask the barangay in some of the provinces, or are they like most politicians? I don't know. I'd be careful of giving it to somebody that's a politician, or not because of trust or anything. I don't think the money might not get to where it's supposed to, because it would be passing hands or something like that. I would give it right directly to the place that's taking the money. Some of the churches around here are sending care packages and stuff like that. I know my church is probably doing that too. The church on the street here, so that's probably going to happen. But yeah, mostly if you're going to donate, contact some church here or something like that. And that's the best way to do it, because that way there, it will get there, I can guarantee you. Because most of the churches here are pretty legit. It doesn't have to be a Catholic church. It can be any type of church. Ask them if they're making any donations to the Typhoon victims, and most of them will say yes. And if they are, then just donate directly to them. That's what I would say. Graham Pierce says Omicron only kills 1 in 3,000. Will take 3 months to completely spread to everyone in the Philippines. After that, the borders might reopen for tourists. Let's see. 3 months. That'd be quick. I'm telling people, I think, to be honest with you, I think it's going to open up like in March or maybe even sooner. That's what I'm thinking. Kevin Smith says, hi, Happy New Year from Ireland, because you don't have to go to the hospital for this one, supposedly. Scott says, I look forward to meeting my online girlfriend. I've never met her in person, so it'll be weird to meet her. Yeah, it probably will be, But you want to know something, Scott? I didn't meet my girlfriend for 4 years. Okay? We talked back and forth for 4 years before I come over here, because I started planning my retirement over here, so I figured, hey, I might as well have a girlfriend if the girl's willing to wait. And I had heard that the girls over here would be willing to wait. A lot of them, some of them won't. And every day she called me. We talked all the time. It was kind of interesting. I've told the story many times on the vlog, but I mean, yeah, a lot of the girls over here will wait, and it was worth the wait. I mean, it's not like we don't have our problems too. We do, but but overall we've done pretty good. It's been 8 years now, so. See, Maximus says, John Miller, do you still have to quarantine for another 9 days after your 5 days in the hotel? So you can stay in the Manila but in quarantine in another location until the 14th day from your arrival? Yes, that's the way it works, Maximus. You can go to another place, you can travel, but you're supposed to stay in your house or girlfriend's house or whatever, but you're supposed to stay quarantined. So James Curlew says, do you have any insight on housing costs in Tagaytay? Yes, I do. James, in Tagaytay, there's different places and different areas, just like there is in any other area, okay? There is low-cost housing in the outer parts of Tagaytay, where you're away from the views and away from the town. The price drops precipitously on cost, but it's still a little bit expensive. It's about $150 for, was it a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom home? About $150, right in around there. Which that's not too bad. That's not considered really expensive, but if you saw the housing, it's kind of expensive because it's not nice housing. Okay, but yes, you can, for about $250 to $400, you can get something better and cleaner. Probably an apartment in an apartment building, maybe with a pool or something like that. So it pays to look around, and then it goes up from there. It gets much more expensive for homes, especially the closer you are to the views and stuff. Maximus says, look up Gwyneth Ann Chua, who recently paid off a hotel to get out of quarantine because she has connections and ended up spreading COVID when she went to a party. I had heard about that. Yeah, I heard that. Patrick Glenn says, I wish they would make catcalling legal again in the Philippines. Let's see. 13K to stay says, I stopped watching a lot of these other vloggers, got sick of them begging for money like a black Filipino on Paul's Asian Adventure. So I appreciate your channel and watch all your commercials. Thanks, man. Yeah, we try to keep it stripped down from that stuff because it just brings a lot of trolls in. When you put all that stuff up on your channel, anything to do with Patreon or Super Chat, it just turns people against you for some reason. And I make enough on the ads, so that's why I tell people just watch the ads, and I'm happy with that. I thank you guys for watching those ads too, by the way, because we actually have a higher rate of ad watching here than most other channels, which is incredible. So we do pretty decent. Francisco Fleta says, how fast is the internet in Cavite, Steve? My internet here averages about 70 Mbps, but we have a secondary one that I use for uploading, and it's 300 to 400 Mbps. Okay, and we use that one. It's my neighbor's, and when mine goes down, I use hers, and when hers goes down, she uses mine. But mine's fast enough to do what we're doing right now and everything, so it's kind of nice. So it's pretty fast. You'd say you get 180 Mbps. Let's see. Let's see. It says, but it won't move for another. I just got a place in Selene, but won't move for another 1 to 2 months. I'm doing some renovations, but I need pretty fast. You have fast internet here, man. Don't even worry about that. You can get it through Converge or PLDT, so you'll be fine. Scott says 4 years, Steve. Wow, how was the first 5 minutes? It was good, man. You know, when we met at the airport, she came up and gave me a big hug, and you know, my girlfriend's daughter and the little boy come up and gave me a big hug and stuff like that, and we held each other for about 5 minutes. It was good. It was like we had known each other for the whole 4 years because we were talking, looking at each other, watching each other. You know, if I was in my room or something like that, she'd be talking to me when I'd have the computer up with the camera on so we could talk and chat and stuff like that. And you know, I'd be talking to all of them, you know, and we were like we were already family. So it was kind of cool. It was nice. It was a nice little thing. Peter Harding says, if you happen to be married to a Filipino, the Balikbayan visa may be all you need unless you know for sure you want to be permanent. Yes, SRRV is pretty much permanent. You can stay here even if you go through a divorce. Whereas if you get a divorce and you're married to a Filipino, you cannot stay. So just FYI. Southern Lady Life says, I'm going to go to Philippine Embassy in London. All paperwork has been done. Just waiting for EED. The EED, guys, is the entry document that you need to get your 9A visa for the SRRV. Plan is to visit in March to complete the SRRV, come back to UK, sell up, and move to the Philippines. There we go. It's a good plan. Southern Lady Life says, kudos to Mary Rose. Mary Rose is fantastic, man. If I'm telling you guys, like, if you guys want to get in here fast, that's the way to go. It can be a little bit costly if you weren't in the military, but, you know, it's still worth it. Tom Pierce says, does the PI have a marriage license card that shows you are married to a Filipino? I don't think they do. I think you have to carry your marriage certificate or something like that. But I'm not sure, Tom. I'm not really up on those marriage visas that much. So I never really got into that much. Let's see here. Mike Jones says, good morning / afternoon. Just waking here in Texas with a bit of hangover. I'm alive and kicking. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Mike. Good to see you on here, man. Traveling Hobo says, I never heard Paul's Asian Adventure beg for anything. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even know. I don't watch many other vloggers. Unless somebody tells me to watch something because they said something about me or something like that or whatever, or they mentioned me. Even then, I usually don't watch them. It makes me come up with, if I don't watch other channels, I come up with better material. Let's put it that way. You know, if I start watching these other channels, I think you just kind of descend into whatever they're doing, and I don't want that. So it's actually helped the channel a little bit. Zura says your channel is the most decent one I saw in the expats in the Philippines. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we touch on every subject. I mean, you guys know that we touch literally. We'll go down any avenue, just about, pretty much. You know, we're careful about touching too much on politics, but sometimes we do touch on that too occasionally. But we do try to stay off the political agenda because it's just not a good thing to touch on over here. Mark Kimmerling says, what's up, gangsta? I pay YouTube to be free from oppressions of ads. There we go. You know something, Mark? When you pay that, we actually get paid from that. We still get money. Even though if you watch us on here, we get paid from that. So we have a thing that says YouTube Premium or something like that. And I make about $20 a month from YouTube Premium channels, somewhere around there. You know, so that's just from the YouTube Premium channels. Graham, somebody's trying to send me some stuff here. Let's see. Mark Kimmerling, let me put this over here, guys. Or shut it off. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Slide this off. That way I don't get all this buzzing and stuff. Let's see. Okay, we're back now. Graham Pierce says, even though Australia is large, the estimated time is 2 months for Omicron to spread everywhere. The islands in the Philippines might slow infections and take 3 months. Maybe, yeah. Because people move around. But people move around a lot in the Philippines, more than in other countries. I honestly believe that. People are constantly traveling. Filipinos love to travel, you know. KM says, I'm considering getting a passport card and renewing my passport so that the expiration date is further out, but I've heard there's a lot of delays in processing now in the States. Yeah, there is, but you can. I believe you can speed that up, KM. Okay, you can speed that up if you wanted to. So just FYI, you know. Frank, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name, Frank. Sorry, Frank L. Okay. Hi, Stephen. Just waiting to finish work in April, then for the Philippines to open up. So I hope it's not too long before I can see you. Yeah, Frank. I think, like, I mean, it keeps changing. It's horrible that it keeps changing, but I'm thinking probably in March or April. You know, I'm thinking. So you might be right, maybe in April. You know, but I think they're gonna start talking about it because the holidays are over. This week, people will start rolling back into work and stuff like that. So I think we'll start getting the ball rolling again. So we'll start hearing something probably in another 14 days. We'll probably hear some of the chatter coming out of the different government offices here. So, and plus we get some connections in some of these offices, so we hear a little bit of it. KM says, would a scooter in Cavite province be safe? No. People do it, and I see it every day, but I see a lot of scooter accidents too. I ask because you're so close to the big city. Yeah, Cavite is pretty bad traffic-wise, you know, but I mean, in my area here, we're quiet down here where I live, but we're starting to see like the road out front here turn into a main road slowly. But where we live, we have to walk down back to us, and the wind blows up, so we don't get any pollution. Let's see, Steven 2020 says, Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year to you also. And Marina says, Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year to you too, Marina. Good to see you on here. Sperlin says, Mark, what's the price of getting rid of the commercials? I'm not sure. You know, that's Sperlin. I think it might be like $19 a month, but I could be wrong. I think it's different in each country. But I think in the U.S., I think it's like $19 or something like that. But I could be wrong. And they do have movies and stuff like that that you can see too. Okay. Peter Harding says, in Duma, has the mayor dropped his support for the Dream Project he was advocating a few months ago? Does anyone believe it will happen? I've never really heard of that, to be honest with you, you know. So I'm not really sure. Let's see. Somebody's sending me some notifications, and I can't see those till after, guys. So I appreciate you sending them. I'll look at them after, okay? So, because I keep sending me notifications on my tablet too. So I see Manila's finest. Good PM. Let's see. Manila's fun. Happy New Year. Sunny G says, expedited passport and card. Receive them within 3 weeks. So there you go, guys. It takes about 3 weeks if you expedite your card or your passport. Okay, and that card, I had a few. I always get somebody attack me, and they always try to get me on like a little tiny technicality or whatever. And what I said was about the passport was the passport ID card. That it's a passport, because it really is a passport. If it lets you pass into a country, it's a passport. And they say, no, it's Steve, it's just an ID card. It's called a passport ID card, but it gets you into Canada, it gets you back out of Canada, it gets you into Mexico, and it gets you back out of Mexico. It'll allow you back into the country from Caribbean countries on a ship, things like that. So it's a legit passport, and it's a legit card to use as an ID at any embassy if you lose your passport. Okay, so that's why I talk about that ID card, because it's a great piece of ID to have. If you lose your passport in a foreign country, that passport card is going to save your butt. So that's why I tell people, get the passport ID, because, you know, and then you never carry the two of them together. You leave one someplace else and hide it, and then take the other one with you. So I tell people that all the time. And what's funny is Western Union was giving me a hassle about that. I talked about that the other day. Western Union was telling me, we want a passport. So I says, that is a passport. And then finally, when she called in, the guy told her basically, you know, that's an accepted form of ID, you know, because it's a passport ID card. So that's why they call it a passport ID, you know. But see, Tom Pierce says, my old passport had a picture of me without a beard. That'd be different, Tom. I can't imagine you without a beard. And my new one has me with a beard, and it caused a delay at airport because I did not look like the pic. If your looks changes, have old passport. Yeah, it might be a good idea, or get the new one with your new looks or whatever. Yeah, if you change your looks or your name, you definitely should be doing something, getting a new ID for sure. I got a ton of IDs over here. Actually, I'm going to be getting the Philippine national ID soon, guys. I will do a vlog on that, how long it takes and stuff like that. Me and the new guy here, Kenny, we're going to go get the new national ID card pretty soon. Maybe this week or next. No, not actually. I take that back. When he gets his passport and his PRA ID card, the SRV card, then we'll do it. So it'll probably be about 3 or 4 weeks, but we will do that, and I will vlog that. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, assuming to open the open up as close to normal as it used to be, would it be possible to start the SRV from the Philippines? In mind of the 6 months expiration on some documents. Let's see. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say here. Let me reread this. Would it be possible to start the SRV from? You can start in the Philippines now if you get the EED, Smoky Mountain Modeler. I mean, but if they open up with the tourist thing, yeah, it'd be easier to do it, because you can just come in here and then just do it. And you would be able to do the medical over here versus doing it in the States and stuff like that. That'll be the difference. I think that's what you're asking. I'm not quite sure. Francisco Fletes says, you hit real life issues in the Philippines. You leave the touristy crap topics for the other guys. I always learn something watching your channel, and it's usually useful. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to touch a little bit of everything, Francisco, in the Philippines. I mean, we don't also do the tourist stuff. I mean, you guys know that too, but we also try to go off the beaten path of the tourist stuff, like the Pagsan Han trip. If you guys haven't seen my Pagsan Han trip yet, the falls, watch the one leaving the falls, not the one going in. It's the place where they filmed Platoon and Apocalypse Now. And it's kind of funny because, remember, Apocalypse Now had Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen's father, and Platoon had Charlie Sheen in it. So it's kind of funny. And Charlie Sheen was actually in the Philippines at age 10 when they filmed Apocalypse Now. So it's kind of an amazing story there when you think about it. And we also saw the bridge in Apocalypse Now. We went underneath it. I didn't get to film that bridge, by the way. My camera wasn't ready, and the guy was paddling so fast I didn't have time to get it ready. I wanted to get that, and I wanted to try to walk over that. And I'm going to be going back there again to film that bridge, by the way. So we will go back there again, and I'll do another thing with the bridge, and I'll show a little bit more in what it looks like around town. It's kind of a touristy town. But when you go into that place, those falls, incredible. If you guys haven't watched that yet, it's a few weeks back, maybe 3 or 4 weeks back, something like that. Pagsan Han Falls. Watch all 3. There's some beautiful photography in there. I highly recommend it. Let's see. KM says, I landed in Mexico City last night. I spent New Year's with a bowl of grapes and a rerun of Indiana Jones. That's not bad. I am about to go exploring. It's mighty quiet out there. Yeah, it was quiet today at Mall of Asia. It was very quiet. We were sitting there eating in Texas Roadhouse, and it was very peaceful. And it was good to see the people there. If you guys ever get a chance, get to know all the waitresses at Texas Roadhouse at Mall of Asia. I'm going to give them a big shout out here, because if you ever want great service and to meet great people, I love those people at Texas Roadhouse. They're awesome. I mean, we usually get this waitress. Her name's Angel. She's fantastic. But all the waitresses there are fantastic. So just if you get a chance, try to watch them. It's really, not watch them. Try to go there. Okay, it's excellent food, excellent steaks. Today I just had a big bacon cheeseburger, and let me tell you something, it's delicious. And they get a thing there called the BFF card, okay, and that gets you discounts. So you have to pay for it, but it's worth it if you go there often like we do. So Graham Pierce says, I'm locked out of the Philippines because Australian pension is cut by 25% if you get married. Stayed single and now been locked out for nearly 2 years. That's kind of sad, man. Sorry to hear that. Let's see. John Miller says, how to get your passport card if you already have your passport. You can get it. You go to the usually it's the post office, John, and you can get your passport ID card. Okay? I think they ask for you to send in your passport and then they send both of them back, but I'm not sure. Okay? Don't quote me on that. They might just ask you for your some sort of ID or a photocopy of your ID or whatever. But it's best to send in the passport. I think that's what they ask for. It's been a long time since I've done it. It's been over 4 years, so I don't recall, to be honest with you. But you can go to the local post office; they'll give you all the information. And so somebody will probably tell you on here. Smoky Mountain Model says you can get one at your local post office. Yes, that's what I said. Smoky Mountain Model, can Mary Rose handle it that way? Mary Rose does both ways. She can handle it when you're over here. She can handle it when you're back home. If you can get all the stuff that she needs, she can do it. If you're in country, she can do it. If you're out of country, she can do it. But you're gonna still need apostles, and you're still gonna need money sent over here. It has to be sent from outside the country. It can't be sent from inside the country. Okay, Smoky Mountain Modeler. If you want to chat, if you want to call me, email me at Steven5975, and we can actually talk a little bit more about that. Just ask me for my phone number. If you're in the Philippines or outside of the Philippines, whichever, ask me for my Philippine phone number or my American number, or both if you want it. And you can always contact me if you ever have a question. But yes, she can do it in the country or out of the country, or however you want to do it, you know. But if you're out of the country, you have to get the EED and come here to finish it. I think that's what you're trying to get at, but I'm not quite sure because the way you asked the question, because it's kind of complicated. You have to get the EED to get the 9A. The 9A tourist visa allows you into the country, and then you finish the SRV process here. Actually, they pick them up at the quarantine center, all your paperwork, and they finish it while you're in the quarantine center. When you get out, then you just have to wait to get your passport back and your ID card. It takes about 45 to 60 days, okay, total. Kenny's actually waiting now for his. That's what he's waiting for, the new guy that just come in, okay? So we got 95 people, 40 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Francisco Fleta says, you need to let me buy you a steak and beer, Steve. We have to get together. Yes, absolutely, whenever you want to. Let me know, you know. I'm usually available during the week, at least for one day, you know. If you let me know in advance, I can try to get a couple of vlogs in advance, and then I can meet up with you so I can take the day off. KM says, if you sign a 6-month lease instead of a 12-month lease, does the price of the apartment go up dramatically? No, not really. It usually stays the same. If you do a 6-month lease or a 12-month lease, you can talk them down sometimes, especially if you pay them partially in advance. But you gotta be careful of some landlords with that. Okay, so just be careful unless you know the person. If you know the person, I pay mine in advance. Never have any issues. In fact, she asked me if I could pay in advance because she needs money or something like that. But it's a relative of my girlfriend, so it kind of changes things. DJ Joe says, in my wallet I carry my PIDL 13A Visa card and my U.S. passport ID. I keep my USDL, U.S. retired military ID card and VA ID card at home in my safe. I feel 3 forms of ID on me is all sufficient. Yes, you're right. It is usually, you know, as long as you remember to bring them when you go someplace. My problem is I forget. Like I'll go someplace and I'll forget my IDs. So I carry most of my IDs with me, but I don't carry my passport with me all the time. You know, I carry my passport ID like you said. Brian Dawson says, hi, Steve. Happy New Year from the UK. Let's see. Lloyd White says, have a great 2022. KM says, if you change your looks, you should get a new passport. Age is changing my looks. It's not me. There you go. I'm talking about drastically. Age doesn't really change it that drastically. You can usually still make out who you are. Like if you lose a lot of weight or something like that, sometimes people, their face and everything changes. Jeff Poise Adventures. Happy New Year, Steve. He says, Happy New Year to you also, man. Tom Pierce says, an old travel friend told me, always keep the old expired passport with the holes punch in it. Nobody will steal it, and it can be used to get a replacement. Yes, it can. You're right on that, Tom. You're 100% right on that. Because if you're not going to get the ID, you should at least carry the other one with the holes punched and hide it somewhere. And I was told the same thing that you just said, Tom, actually by the embassy official when I was them, because when I go in there, I ask them a ton of questions. They hate seeing me come in here, you know. But the lady there actually thanked me for the service I was doing for about window one with the repatriation loans. I guess she saw my vlog and she said thank you for doing that because it's much appreciated that I get out the information. That's actually an old vlog that I did. Eddie Centino says we currently live in the U.S., but we have a home in Meadowwood Executive Village in Bacoor, across from SM. We are waiting for travel to open without quarantine. Hope we can meet when I get there. Sure, Eddie, I can meet up. You know, we're going to be having meetups probably anyway maybe at the Dasma Mall or something like that. When things open up, we're planning on having maybe barbecues somewhere, maybe over in Cavite, and we're planning on doing some trips. So, and I'm going to put that information out there on the channel, and people will be able to do that and go on trips with us. So it'll be kind of cool. We actually have probably about 20 people that want to move to Tracy, and actually we have quite a few here that are already here already. We have Darren here. He's actually over in General Trias, you know, but he's already here. And I haven't seen him this week too much because we've been so busy with the holidays and everything. But we like I said, we have Kenny here. We have another guy, Paul from Alaska, that's probably going to be coming here. We have Nathan, who's going to be coming here. We have another guy from Connecticut, Gleason. He's coming here. A whole slew of people are coming here for sure, and they all want to move to this area to have like a kind of an expat community. It'd be kind of nice. It was about what I was talking about. And, you know, we already have our little thing going here. Me and Kenny are already starting to hang out, and he's one of the new guys. And, you know, once we get everybody situated here, new guys will train other new guys coming in, you know, how to live here, how to get around, how to, you know, go to the VA, how to do things here, how to save money. So, you know, all the stuff that I teach on my channel, I'm going to teach these guys, and these guys will help people that come in here. So it'll be kind of fun because you make new friends, meet new people. We'll have people here basically to watch each other's back, kind of. You know, be kind of nice. So Manila's Finest says, in a nutshell, what's the difference between SRV and the tourist visa? Is it for a single person? The SRV, I mean, if you go through a divorce on the SRV and you're married to a Filipina, you can still stay here, whereas the other one you can't. Okay, the SRV is for retirees, and it has a lot of benefits too, because the Philippine Retirement Authority helps you get your license if you want faster, helps you if you need to go into elderly housing over here, or you need to go into a nursing home over here. And yes, there is good nursing homes over here. There's also housing over here, you know, for elderly, things like that. And some of it's fairly reasonable and cheap compared to the U.S. It's much cheaper, and they'll assist you in that. They'll assist you with all that. So that's the good thing about it. There's so many benefits of the Philippine Retirement Authority. It's worth going on there to look to see what they have, because a lot of it is just too much to even mention. I'm going to try to do a video on that someday and have the lady talk about that, but I haven't had a chance, and she's really busy, the lady that does that. So, and it's not Mary Rose, it's somebody else at the PRA, but I want to get them to talk sometime. I asked her if she could talk, but she said she had to get back to the office, because we went with her to the get a license for somebody. So, but it'd be interesting to have her on and talk someday, and hopefully we can. Let's see. R. Kirby says, I've been traveling for 20 years, just waiting for some easy access. I don't like the idea of 2 weeks of quarantine. Nobody does, man. Nobody. You know, I mean, I understand that though. You know. Yeah, Traveling Hobo says, SRV, no wife needed. That's true, yeah. But you can have a wife and bring her over too. It can even be an American wife or whatever. And you can also bring your kids over on the SRV too. A lot of people don't know that. 13A visa, wife is needed. Yes, absolutely, you have to have a wife. JD got EED and 9A visa a week ago via SRV application. Thanks to you and Mary Rose. No problem, JD. I appreciate that, man. Let's see, retired December 31st and arriving January 27th. So excited to start my retirement in the Philippines. Thank you for all, Steve. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's good to see people getting through. We have a lot of people that we've gotten through over this past year. And they're all starting, people that have applied too. And a lot of them are starting to come through now. And some of them are already in here. Some of them I don't even, I know from talking to them, but I have never met them or anything like that. So maybe someday in the future I can meet some of these guys, because I always like meeting the guys that get in here. R. Kirby says, I'm still looking for top two for now is Philippines versus Thailand. Let's see, R. Kirby also says, I lived in Thailand for the past for work, but did not make it to the Philippines. Off the cuff adventures for Jamie says, Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. KM says, I'm a big believer in the lock tote bag to lock up my ID and passport when you're on the road. You can't cut it open. You know something? I have a little thing that protects your card, both your IDs and your passport, from picked up by magnetic readers or whatever they call it there. And that card thing is great for putting like IDs and passports, ATM cards, all that stuff in there. And I forget, I think I paid like $5 for it, and the thing's great. My girlfriend, she usually takes stuff like that off me and uses it herself, but it's been sitting on the desk there for a while, and I might start actually using it. So, but it's kind of a useful little thing. Gizmo in Asia says, can you get to the Philippines now on a retirement visa? Yes, absolutely you can. Yes, you still have to go into quarantine though for like the 5 days or whatever, I believe. But don't quote me on that, because they change that stuff all the time. But I think it's the same as everybody else coming in right now. Okay, but that does change. But yes, you can get in here just like the 13As are getting in here. Tom Pierce says, R. Kirby, PI for the people, Thai for the food. Yeah, I heard Thai food's pretty good, man, compared to Filipino. I'm not really too keen on Filipino food, although my ex-wife was a good cook, and she cooked a lot of Filipino food that was actually quite delicious. So it depends on where you go in the Philippines, too. She was from Iloilo, so the food there was pretty decent. You know? The food from Mindanao is a lot different. It's a lot more bland. And that's where my girlfriend's from now. Maximus RFID wallet. Yes. It's like 2 metal plates. And it's got some like spring-loaded things on the side. Like, not spring-loaded. It's elastic fabric or something. It's kind of cool, though. It has like a finger indentation to push the cards out when you want to find your card. Let's see. It says, I have been to the PI for vacation, but that is not the same thing as living for years. No, it's not. You know, I tell people come here to visit first and see if you like it, because a lot of people get here and then they decide that they don't like it because it's just not their cup of tea. That's why we get a lot of people that go back sometimes. Or they just get in with the wrong crowd. And that's the sad part, because older people tend to be a lot more trusting sometimes, let's face it, and they get in with the wrong bunch, and then they get something happens, so then they get robbed or they get whatever. But it's not a good scene usually, and I've seen that happen to a couple people. JD says, I'm in Mary Rose batch 8, by the way. There we go, okay. Tom Pierce says, I have a small case that has a locking cable to keep valuables in, made by Master Lock. I've actually seen those. Somebody was showing me that the other day. Somebody had one here, and they were showing me that. So I think that's actually a gun case, if I remember correctly, Tom, for putting underneath your seat. I used to have something similar to that. I used to put it underneath my seat. It might have even been by the same company. JD says, Steve, how is Elo referencing possible living? Iloilo's nice. It's a nice place. It's a beautiful area down there, but it's starting to get built up like anything else. I haven't been to Iloilo in a long time, since the 80s. So I really couldn't tell you that much about that. I was down there during the 80s, and I liked it down there. It was a beautiful place. I was in Bugasong Antique, and I went down to Aklan and Boracay during that time. That's when Boracay was Boracay, believe it or not. It was a beautiful place then. And it was, when you went to Pizza Hut there, it was Pizza Hut. It was a grass hut. Now they have Pizza Hut and McDonald's there and all that stuff, and that whole island's been wrecked, Let's see. Eddie Santino says, is it okay to buy from Lazada and prepay? My wife thinks they may not get the package. They prefer COD. What is your... You know what? Every COD package I've ordered, I've gotten. But you have to check it to make sure that's what's in the package, the stuff that you ordered. The other day I got one. I ordered an exercise thing on there, and it was the wrong item, so I sent it back. But yeah, COD's fine. it gets to you just as fast as the other packages. Sometimes faster, maybe. See, R. Kirby says, I want 45. I am 45. I want to visit a few more places, 3 months each, then go for the retirement visa. Retirement visa is really good, especially if you're ex-military. But even if you're not, it's still good, because some of the places have higher fees than the Philippines does. The Philippines is actually pretty decent, you know. Another place to check out, guys, if you're looking, I talk about this a few times, is check out Boracay. Boracay is beautiful too. KM says, as an alternative to the Philippines, I have an unusual backup plan. If they open, and that's American Samoa. Has anybody ever been there? It looks beautiful in the videos. American Samoa is actually really nice, yes. I'm not sure about the rules for staying there, because some of those places that are American Commonwealths and things like that, I'm not sure of the rules there. Each place is different. They have really weird rules. Okay, the people that live there, some of them, they're not considered like really the American. I don't know. There's like confusion amongst like what they're called, like American citizens, American nationals. What they are. I don't know. I'm not really up on that much. But like Guam and stuff like that. Guam actually has a lot of Filipinos over there, by the way. JD says, Lazada prepay is just fine. Never had an issue. Yeah, I never have an issue. Eddie Santino says, thanks. You're welcome, man. I love Lazada, by the way. That's where I get my hats. These here, the hats that I always wear, I get those on there. I mean, I love those hats. They're about $4, $4 or $5, somewhere around there, and I get them on there. Also, guys, I've ordered stuff from eBay, and eBay gets their stuff really, really, really quick. Okay, here. I mean, I got it like in 4 days. I mean, I paid for it. I paid about $39, but I ordered about 8 hats. And they were all like the ones that says U.S. Submarine Service on them and stuff like that. You know, and they were nice. The blue ones that the people wear in the military. I used to actually have one when I was on my sub. Let's see. JD says Lazada prepay is fine. Let's see. Eddie Santino. Let's see. Romeo Cero. Happy New Year 2022 to everyone. Joe Davis says sorry, just arrived. What's the latest for COVID in the Philippines? Yeah, Joe, we have that new variant here, I heard, but I'm not sure if it's spread out amongst the people yet or if it's just that they caught it on people coming in, so I'm not quite sure. They're pretty tight on that, which is good. Maximus says, newsboy hats for our Philippines news guy. Actually, a newsboy hat is quite different than these hats. These are like I don't know if you call them golf hats. Or whatever. I'm not quite painter's hat or taxi hat, cabbie hat. They have all different names, but the newsboy one is the baggier top. It's the one that you usually see like what's that guy from the Matrix? You know who I'm talking about. The guy from the Matrix there, Keanu Reeves. He wears those on occasion, you know. Let's see. Eddie Santino says, is the cost of shipping from eBay reasonable? No, it's actually very high. But you know something, if you want to get something bad enough, then it's worth it. I've actually had some stuff from France sent here, and it took 90 days to get here. Okay, and the lady actually refunded the whole thing. And when I got the package, after the 90 days, I asked her, I said, do you want me to pay you again? She says, absolutely not. She goes, you keep that, you keep that for your daughter. And it was actually a cross from a French church. It was an antique cross, and it was really, really nice. And I kind of felt bad, but the lady has thousands of those crosses, I guess. I don't know how she gets them, but she collects them and sells them, you know. Let's see. JD Steve, can you use the SRV to buy a house and lot? No. You can only buy a condo, or you can lease. Okay, you can own a house on leased land. Okay, so you can buy a house, but you can't own the land it's on. Would be in Filipinas name, of course. If it's in the Filipinas name, of course you can buy whatever. But you can buy a condo in your own name, okay? And you can also do the long-term lease. That's the only way you can do it. Yeah, it's the same. Texas Frog says, I've been to Guam and it is very expensive. Yes, I heard. For everything. Even for rentals and stuff like that. It's not a place to retire, let's put it that way. But it is a beautiful place. If you have the money, it's a great place to retire. But I wouldn't want to retire there, I don't think. JD, any hat that really shields the sun off the face is a good hat to me. Yes, I love these hats. It's just like a special quality, and it reminds me of Boston a little bit too. A lot of my family and friends and stuff like that from like Chelsea and Revere and places in Boston, Cambridge, always wore those hats. So it always brings back memories, a lot of memories. See, Zura says, I thought that your hats are collector's items. The military ones I have actually, they are. I collect them. I wouldn't call them a collector's item, but yes, I do collect them. You know. So the traveling hobo says, for the SRV, if you wait to get the medical in the Philippines, you can the medical there and save on getting it apostilled. Yes, that's correct. Yep. So if you wait to get in here on a tourist visa, okay, you can do the medical over here. That's correct. There's like a few subtle differences. You don't have to get the EED and all that stuff. And the EED is kind of the thing that you have to wait for a little bit, okay? Last I heard was it's slowing down a little bit. So it's not speeding up like we thought it was going to, but it's actually gotten slower for the EED. But it's still not that slow. So it's not that bad. Joe Davis says, what is the alert level now? I'm not actually sure. Maximus says level 3. Okay. We're not wearing face shields anymore, so that's a good thing. And there's a lot more freedom, more feeling of freedom here than average. It's kind of funny walking around here because I can go on vacation now all throughout the country pretty much and travel pretty freely. It's not like they have checkpoints or anything like that like they did before. Maybe in some places they do, but not around here. KM says, do you know if Palawan was hit hard by the storm? There's not a lot of news on that island. I heard that they did get hit a little bit, yes. Not as bad as some of the other places, but they had lost some trees and things like that in some sections. See, Mick says, what is the best place to meet ladyboys? I'm not sure, man. I don't look for them, so. Smoky Mountain Modeler, that video on Expat Credit Union was helpful. Thanks, man. Sounds like a great option for Americans. Would it be safe to deposit your Social Security checks each month? Yes, that's actually the State Department. It's State Department Federal Credit Union. So I mean, yes, absolutely. I would say yes. There's a lot of write-ups on that online. You can research it more, but yes, it's also great for expats. But you have to join that other organization, the American Citizens Abroad, for $70 a year. But that American Citizens Abroad has a lot of expat information on there. And that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about joining this year. So that's one of the things that I'm going to do. And I'm also going to join that credit union. Let's see. Eddie Santino says, is there a big box store in Cavite like Costco? In Cavite province, we have a lot of those. We actually have Landers close by. We have SNR close by. So yes, in Cavite province. So you just have to drive to another town. You go to Alabang, you can go to Imus for SNR. Alabang has Landers, which is really good. Okay. See, Justin in Arkansas says, how long after EED transmitted and 9A application is sent does it take to get the visa? It can be anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks. It's fast. Houston consulate does not respond to my email, and it's been 3 weeks waiting. Wonder what the other guys experience. If you deal with them online, usually through emails and stuff like that, they're usually pretty good. If you send in stuff or anything like that, they're fast. But they do all the stuff that gets sent in first before they answer questions. I remember when I was getting ready to come over here, I had some questions to ask them, and it took like 2 or 3 weeks for them to call me. So, Graham Pierce says, Lazada COD is great. I have ordered hundreds of items, only have received 2 broken TV sets that were returned to sender at no charge. The Traveling Hobo says, Washington, D.C. PI Consulate has been very good at responding to my questions about the 9A visa. Yes. Yeah, they usually are pretty decent. It depends on which one you call, The one in New York is a lot slower. So, DJ Joe, I'm originally from Guam, and yes, it's a hell of expensive back home. back home on Guam. I'm living retired life here in the Philippines. In my 40s, would not be able to afford this lifestyle living back home. Probably not. Lulu55 says, message retracted. So I don't know what that is. Let's see. DRB166 says, do you stay current on entry restrictions? No, I really don't because they change those daily. He says, I intend to go to Mindanao next winter for 4 to 5 months. Married, daughter in college there. I mean, once you get in country, you should be able to go right there, but you might have to do a quarantine there or something. Those restrictions change daily. That's why I don't even bother keeping on top of those because it just changes so much. I mean, I don't vlog on those because if I vlog on them, the next day it's changed again. So it's just kind of like a non-point. It's just non-issue. You know what I mean? It is what it is when people get here. You know, yeah, it's not worth vlogging. That's why most of the vloggers don't talk about it too much. Some will. A couple of people do once in a while, on occasion. I think Jennifer Terry does. Jennifer Terry has actually gotten a lot better recently. You know, I've spoken about her in the past, not in a negative way, but I mean, she did put out some information that I didn't think was appropriate at one time. It wasn't up to my standards or whatever. But she puts out good information, but sometimes I think she misunderstands some of the things that she puts out there. But she's doing much better now. So if you guys are looking for stuff like that about restrictions and stuff, she does most of the stuff on restrictions. Her name's Jennifer Terry. She's a nice girl. She's actually getting much better. R. Kirby says, I will not be getting Social Security or pension, so I'm looking at a large deposit for the SRV. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people have been putting up the large deposit. I know it's tough, but yeah, it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. And you can get that back, or you can do a long-term lease or something, get that back. But when you do the long-term lease or you buy a condo, the PRA is going to be listed on there too. It's kind of like your deposit kind of transfers over to like your condo or your long-term lease or whatever. So they're going to have their name on that until you leave the country or die. You know, then it would come off. Okay, just FYI, I just want you to know that. So don't think like because you're doing a lease, that you just suddenly get the money. I'm not. There's stipulations to that, and it's kind of gets, you know, it gets rough. There's all kinds of stipulations and stuff that you have to kind of follow. But you can talk to Mary Rose about that. She'll answer all that. She's good with that. But it does get kind of convoluted. Georgina Kambongon, Happy New Year. How you doing, Georgina? Good to see you on here. Lulu55. He's talking about the lady boys. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, I'll leave that one alone. But let's see, we're up on 60 minutes, guys. I'll stay on for another 10 minutes if we can get some more questions on here. We're butting up against the end of the questions here. So here we go. Philip Jones says, I plan to retire in 18 months. At what point do I start my SRV process? I've been there over 20 times. I know where I am going to base out of. Okay. Well, let me just say this, Philip. If you're going to start the SRV process, okay, and you're starting it now during the COVID, let's see, and we still have, let's say we still have COVID in 18 months, but God forbid we don't, then I would say 3 months before you're going to come here, start it. If we just have the tourist visas, you need to start getting all your stuff together and contact me. Okay, contact me and I'll tell you what's going on at the time. I know it's 18 months away, but I'll still be around, God willing, you know. And I'll help you through the process and I'll tell you the current way to do it then, because it does change on occasion. But Philip, contact me. Write down this email. This is my email. It's Stephen with a V 5975 at yahoo.com. Stephen with a V 5975 at yahoo.com. So Stephen5975 at yahoo.com. Okay? And I'll help you with whatever questions you have. I can talk to you. Just ask me for my phone number. If you're in the Philippines, ask me for my Philippine phone number. If you're outside in the U.S. or somewhere else, I'll give you my U.S. number. Okay, and you can call me direct. It's free to call. You know, or you can, if you want, I can send you Messenger if you're outside of the U.S. or whatever. Okay, so I can send you my Messenger and you can call me a Messenger. DRB166 says, I watch Jennifer, but like you said, it changes every day. I'll be retiring in CDO probably 7 to 8 years. Yes, Jennifer's good. I actually appreciate her channel a lot. You know, she's a little bit nervous on there, and I think some things she doesn't understand. But she does. She's a good vlogger, you know. But I mean, I think she misunderstands some things sometimes. And you know, I've watched her a few times. She gets a little bit nervous on some things, and she switches back and forth between Tagalog and English, and it kind of messes with your head. And it's not good for the expats, I don't think, you know. But she's a good vlogger. She just needs to speak more English, I think. That's my only beef with her. Zura says, what is your opinion and experience of the survival rate of an average expat to stay in the Philippines for 2 years or more? Well, Zura, 72 seems to be like the average age here that an expat dies at. I see a lot of expats that have died in here. Just the time that I've been here, I've seen a guy die at 69, 72, and I've talked to a lot of other expats that have been here for a long time. Most of them say that most of the people die here at age 72. Now, are there older ones here? Hell yeah, there is. You know, but it's hard for somebody in their 70s to come over here and adjust, you know, right away, and I think that's part of it. So, I mean, if you stay in if you live an AC type lifestyle and you have people running out to get all your stuff and you're not doing all the dirty work, going out and getting groceries and stuff, you'll probably live a long time. Just get some exercise and stuff like that and take care of yourself. And go to the doctors, you know. At least get a checkup every 3 months. It's only like $6 or $8 or something like that, you know. And then the tests and stuff are really cheap and reasonable too. See, the traveling hobo says getting FBI police report, though the FBI website is twice as cheap than going through the private company. Yes, but it takes longer. You know, the other agencies that do that traveling hobo, they're super fast. Like myfbireport.com, they've changed to another site now. It's like MBI something, but it's not to be confused with MBI in the Philippines. Okay, it's actually a credit bureau, and they do the FBI stuff now, and they're really, really quick, and they will expedite it. R. Kirby says, it's the same thing as Thailand, the deposit. I will be checking closer, then pick and get ready. I'm expecting some changes. Changes will be happening soon. I'm hearing that at some point those rates in the Philippines might go up, but I'm hoping that's not true. But that was a rumor coming out of the PRA a while back, and nothing's changed, so let's hope it doesn't. Roy Jones says, I haven't seen you since last year. You haven't changed a bit. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. See, Walt Tolander says, hello, Steve. Happy New Year. Long-time listener. Good advice. Thank you. Maximus says, message retracted. I don't know what that is, Maximus. Free says, can I start the process even though I'm living in Mexico, Ecuador last year and a half, or do I have to start in the USA? Well, Free, you can do it anywhere as long as you can get the stuff done, like apostles and things like that. If you can get the apostles and stuff done, yes. People have done it from other countries. We had a guy here that did it from Kuwait. So yes, you can do the SRV process from outside the U.S., okay? But when you send the money, if you need help, Free, email me from my phone number or from my Facebook account. You can talk to me on my Facebook account by calling me on Messenger or whatever, okay? But my email is steven5975@yahoo.com, and I'll send you that information. I check my emails about once every day or two, so you know, don't think I'm ignoring you, because sometimes I go out 3 days if I'm busy with stuff, or I get tied up, or I just want to relax for a couple of days. But I always answer. I always answer, okay? And if for some reason I didn't answer you, it could be a mistake or something like that or whatever. But, you know, I answer everybody. So again, Steven5975@yahoo.com, and I'll take care of you. I'll help you with whatever you need. Just ask me, if you're in Mexico, ask me for Messenger, okay? And you can call me on Messenger, okay? And if you don't have Messenger, let me know, and I can throw $5 in my magic jack, and I can call Mexico if you give me a Mexican number. Just tell me how to call it, okay? DRB166 says, foreigner age limits are based on where you live. If you are near a major city with good health care, you may outlive life expectancy in the U.S. Healthcare is cheap. A year of Pacific Blue is $400. Yeah, there's some good healthcare plans over here. I've never heard of $400 one. That must be for somebody that's younger or something like that. Most of the ones through Pacific Cross for in the 50s is usually at least 1,000 or right around 1,000. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says quality of life and standard of living. Those things may not increase as much as some think, even with the extra rent and transportation savings some may achieve. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that come over here really don't take care of themselves. That's the problem. You know, they stay in because it's hot. You're not getting enough exercise. I have a gym right down the street, and me and Kenny are actually thinking about starting to use it more often. And it's called Titan Fitness, and I've actually showed that gym a couple times. You can look back on some of my vlogs and go way back and find it. It's got like a yellow sign that says Titans Fitness, and I think that's in the thumbnail picture. So Maximus says retiring in 4 months' time and hoping all quarantine nonsense is straightened out by that time. Don't want to experience being incarcerated in a room. Also, airfare needs to go back to pre-COVID. Yes, I agree. See, John Fetchko says, if over 70 in country, what do I need for military SRIV? One thing you won't need if you're over 70, it depends on whether you're going to do the EED, okay? John, let me answer it this way. If you're coming in now and you're going to do the EED, you will still need your police report, okay, for the EED, from what I understood from Mary Rose. Now, I could be wrong on this. It might have changed, but last I heard was you still needed the police report, but you didn't need to get it apostilled, okay? You're going to need your DD-214 and any other documents that Mary Rose asked for. Okay, and I can help you with that. It's best if I talk to you because I can kind of walk you through everything and tell you the way it works. It's kind of hard to explain on here because each person's a little bit different depending on their situation and everything. Like you have to have at least $1,000 a month pension, okay, and be able to show that you have a pension also, John. And you have to be 50 or older. You says you're over 70, so you if you're gonna wait till they open up, okay, for the tourist visa. You know, like they're just going to open up the tourist visas and let people come into the country, then you can do the medical over here. But if you're going to do the EED, you have to do that's the entry document to get the 9A tourist visa. Then you're going to need to get the medical over in the States. So, but again, if you want to contact me, John, Steven5975@yahoo.com, I'll give you all that information. Okay, I'd be more than glad to help you guys. You guys know I help tons of people on here get their stuff. And I'll Mary Rose, she does not get paid by you. She gets paid by the PRA. So you don't pay her a nickel, okay? The money goes to the PRA. The PRA pays her when you're done, and only when you're done. Otherwise, she doesn't make a nickel. So Philip Jones says, if you don't like to drink a lot of water, don't go there. So important to be hydrated every day. That alone can extend your life. Yes. Yep. Unfortunately, I drink a lot of Coke. I'm starting to drink water more, and the Coke's not helping me. Zura says, thanks a lot. Let me see. Thanks, but I meant the percentage expat that cannot stand to live in the Philippines and leaves. The ones that leave, probably about, on the SRV, we don't get that many people leaving, although we have recently, the lady there at the PRA told me that there was some people that were actually leaving. They were checking out, which is unusual. And that was, she even stated that was kind of uncommon. So just FYI, that there was some people leaving, but I think it was all because of all the COVID stuff going on and everything going on with China and everything. Some people were getting spooked a little bit, but we have tons of people replacing those people left and right, you know. But we have a lot of people coming to our area now from down in Cebu because there's a lot of the rentals are gone down there. They get damaged or roofs ripped off, windows knocked out, you know, from that area where the Typhoon was. It's pretty bad down there. I've been getting phone calls and stuff, you know, about moving up here, and I've been telling them there's plenty of places here. Don't worry about it. Just come, you know. Tom Pierce says, stress from moving to a new country and stress from young woman are what kill you at 72. Listen to Steve and you can cut out at least one stress issue. Yeah, you can. It's true. You know, there's a lot of stress over here. Just living differently, man, and just living happy and having a different attitude is part of it. And that's why I talk about that attitude change a lot, you know. Steve Lindley says, hey, Steve, do you know anything about the VA? Yes. The VA is excellent over here. I love the VA over here. It's just for service connections though, okay? And they do C&P exams and everything. Walt Tolander says, "Hello, Kevin and Kitchen." Let's see. KM says, "Is there such a thing as a $100 little apartment in Batangas?" I'm not sure about Batangas. I would think that there probably is. Just like what I have, yes, but it's going to be in a different area. I mean, if you're looking for a really good apartment in a big building with a pool, you're going to probably pay about $200. Okay, but without the pool, like the ones that I show, I think that's what you're talking about. Yes, you'll be able to get those. Yes, in Batangas, some parts of Batangas, sure, absolutely. Let's see. Free says, "Thanks. I'm in Ecuador. I'll message you." Okay, Free, no problem. And just ask me for my phone number or whichever, whatever you need, Facebook, whatever you want. If you want my American number, ask for my American number. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, "Hello." Philip Jones says, "SRV process can be done early, but the MBI background check is all about timing on entry to the country." Yes, it is. It's not the MBI, it's FBI. It's the company that does it is NBI. It's actually not, because the MBI in the Philippines is the FBI of the Philippines, but it needs to be done. And if you're doing it in the Philippines, it's a little bit different. They do Interpol checks and stuff like that too. So everything. That's why sometimes I tell people you need to talk to me, and then I can help you out, or Mary Rose. Peter Harding says, "Do you know if TRICARE for life is useful in the provinces?" No. And what province do you live in? I live in Cavite, and there is a TRICARE hospital not too far from me. It's pretty far, but not that far. It's a short, I won't say short ride. It's a little bit of a long ride for us because of traffic and stuff. But yeah, there's TRICARE hospitals around Manila. So DRB166 says, "But I'm not that familiar with TRICARE, so let's see. I am currently paying $400 per person with Pacific Blue. Family plan, no deductible, 25,000 limit per person." Yeah, so you got a big limit, man. I've had this plan for 6 years. See, I have like no deductible on mine, which is great. See, R. Kirby says, "I have done the FBI with Apostle 10 times now for working out of the USA." Yeah, it's pretty easy to get. Cam says, "Tough question. I may want to make a knockoff of a little vintage camper while in the Philippines. Can you rent workspace at a garage that's secure?" Yes, absolutely. There's tons of places that are empty around here. You might have to paint them up and fix them up, but you can get them fairly cheap too. Actually, when I was driving around today, I saw a garage for working on cars and stuff like that you could build stuff like that there. Yeah, and you could probably rent it for probably like $100 a month or cheaper. So yes. And some of them have bathrooms and even a little apartment there too for that. David Minson says, "I have been in contact with Mary Rose, and I believe she has indicated that I will not need a police report if over 70. No, you will not. If it's for the EED, if you're doing the EED stuff, you might still need it, David. But that might have changed. Things change constantly, so don't quote me on that. But before I noticed that you did need it for the EED, from what I believe. Because I think Mary Rose told me that. She says you need it for the EED, but it does not need to be apostilled. Okay? Now, if you're not doing the EED, if you're waiting to come in here when they open the tourist thing, then that's a whole different ball game. Then you won't need it at all. Okay? See, DRB166, 25,000 in the Philippines for medical is like $500 plan in the U.S. Yes, it is. Yep. I have about $30,000 worth of coverage for each thing I get hit with. So if it's a heart attack, they'll cover $30,000, and I pay about $1,000 for that. And that's just for inpatient though. Outpatients, a few bucks more. And the coverage is like $500 per year. But you better have covering that yourself. It's cheap. Dickie Spaz says, "Good day, Steve. Starting to see a few vloggers having mental breakdowns and wanting to leave the penis. It appears the recent typhoon is really messing with their mental health." Yeah, I've heard some of the stuff that people are saying out there, man. I heard some crazy ones today, but people are telling me. I don't watch most of the other channels, so I don't really know what's going on. But it hasn't affected me. We had a little bit of wind here during that time. That was about it. Michael Lee says, "Hey Steve, Happy New Year's to you and your family. May you have a blessed year and keep doing what makes you happy. P.S. I haven't been on one of these since your first one." That's okay, Michael. It's all right. Brian H. Airfare is currently $1,000 East Coast U.S. to Manila for June. That's not bad. R. Kirby, thanks for all the information. You're welcome. Roy Jones says, being happy can be stressful. Yeah. Traveling Hobo, SRV, if John Fetchko is currently in the PI, over 70 does not need a police report. Yes, you're correct. Or if resident over 5 years, police report not needed. No. Sometimes they do Interpol, but if you're over 70, I don't think they do any of that stuff. It's just not necessary. DRB166 says there are $60 apartments in the Batangas if a one room with separate CR is okay. Yeah, those are like the apartments that we're talking about here, because most of the apartments here are about $60 to $80 and $100 for some. If it's a really, really nice one in a nice area, you can get it. You might pay $100 with a little bit more space, more walking room and stuff like that outside. KM, I think airfare is about $1,000 from East Coast because the airlines want the money for a flight they know they may cancel. Risky. KM, a $60 apartment sounds great as long as it's not a rooming house. Yes. KM, do me a favor, okay? And this will help you out to understand what the apartments are over here. Go back through my stuff and look at the apartments and look at all the houses that I show and stuff like that. Go through all my apartment videos and you'll see what you get. Actually, check out my apartment too that I pay about $80 for now, okay? And you'll get a rough idea what you get. And the apartment that I'm in right now is a beautiful apartment. I really like it here. It's very comfortable for me. And, you know, if there's one thing I can tell you is that these places that people put down so much, some of them are great places. Yeah, you have a couple of chickens or roosters that go by once in a while, or a dog or something like that that barks on occasion. That's all depends on your area. You know, just stake out the area for a while, check it out, or get a white noise machine. You know, and, you know, we have Kenny over here. Kenny loves it over there. He's got a beautiful little apartment. He's on the second floor. He loves it over there. So just check it out. If you need help finding a place, I can help you, okay? Smoky Mountain Model says, KM, travel insurance will take care of cancellations. Yeah, that's a good thing to get all the time. Philip Jones, having an SRV doesn't impact Social Security monthly pay, right? No. Nope. Also, doing the registration for Medicare just prior to 65, can that be done remotely? I believe it can. I believe it can. You can probably do it at the embassy here. You may want to call the embassy, though. Call the Social Security section. And they'll let you know. Paul G says, I only had a local police report ran for SRV application. I did not use the FBI report, and it was accepted. Okay. R. Kirby, I am moving out of the USA for the low stress life. Go scuba diving. Let's see. I have a good budget and will pay to get little things done, like if you can get a rep to file paperwork. R. Kirby, most of the stuff that you do on the SRV stuff, I think you're still referring to the SRV stuff, it has to be done by you, but Mary Rose will walk you through the whole process. She does all the stuff when she gets all the paperwork, okay? You don't have to do that. That's why it's best to use her. So she takes a lot off your back. If you do it by yourself and you don't use an agent, you're going to find it harder, okay? Because you're going to be asking a lot of questions, making a lot of calls, calling the PRA. She takes that off your shoulders and does that for you, and the PRA pays her to do that. So you don't have to pay her a nickel more than you would have. So she gets paid by the PRA 100%. Okay, just FYI. If you have any questions, just ask me. You can call me and we'll talk all you want. I'll help you through the whole process. Cam, if you want to scuba dive, it's a little tougher now that the best dive islands got hit so hard. Probably, yeah. Batangas is still nice, though. Batangas is, and Mindoro has some nice diving spots, too. Carl Ensman says, Happy New Year from Livermore, California. How you doing, Carl? Welcome aboard. David Johnson says, if you use digital prints for the FBI report, U.S. Postal at certain locations, you can get your report in an hour or less. It costs $50 extra. That's worth it. Somebody told me about that, but I've never seen that. You have to go to certain locations, though, like you said. Okay, I'm a driver too. Was counting on Bohol, Cebu. Yeah, a lot of those places got wiped pretty bad, so they're gonna take a couple of years to probably come back, guys. Some of those places that you guys were planning on going to now are a wreck. So you may want to think about moving here temporarily, or north of here. Okay, like Subic, places like that. See, Traveling Hobo says, last I heard, TRICARE for life. You have to pay the bills first, then they will reimburse, send the paperwork. At certain hospitals, I think they'll wait for the payment from TRICARE. Traveling Hobo. That was what I heard up at the VA. Now, that was a while back. Now, I don't know if that's still true today, because I know some of those hospitals were waiting so long for their money, they backed out or whatever. So maybe they all backed out by now. I don't know. It's been a while since I'm not really up on TRICARE, because I used to have some connections in TRICARE, so I had a lot of knowledge of that for a while, but I don't have those connections anymore, unfortunately. Tom Pierce says, thanks for the commercial-free show. Our dessert for watching all those commercials during the week. Thumbs up. No problem, man. Let's see. What's this one here? Kevin. Tom, send me some more pictures when you go on a trip, by the way. Okay? I always enjoy those. I like those little campers that you send me. Kevin Nash's Kitchen says, just sounds too hot to have a camper in 85 plus weather. Maybe if you can go into some higher elevations and have a good tow vehicle. You know something? If you had a nice camper over here with a nice generator and a nice AC, I think it'd be a good little thing to have. It'd be cheap too. Cheap to have and cheap to run. Manila's Finest says, I have United Healthcare Advantage. Will cover emergencies outside the U.S. Hope PI recognizes. I'm not sure if they will or not. $13K to stay RFID. Let's see. Carl Ansman says, I have 2 vouchers with PAL that I will use from San Francisco. Let's see. SFO, I think that's San Francisco. Just waiting on the Philippines to open up. I would love to come back in April from my 3-week vacation. DRB166 says, people leaving the Philippines due to mental health is usually folks already having mental health problems. My home and life in Mindanao is comparable to the U.S. South in 1970. Yeah, Mindanao is a whole different world down there. I know some people like it down there and other people don't. I just tell people stay away from Mindanao, because if they go to the wrong places, it's not going to be fun. Let's just put it that way. But there are some beautiful places down there. 808 Bear says, good morning, everyone. Let's see. 13K. I use pack safe luggage, backpacks, wallets, /proof, lined, let's see, with wire mesh. Bob M says, newbie here. Hi, Bubblehead. Bubblehead is a term for submariners. I guess Bob must know that I'm an ex-submariner. Let's see. Brit in Saigon says, hi, Steve. Another YouTuber was saying Filipinos come up to you around Christmas and New Year's for presents. Yes, they do. Free stuff, even total strangers in the street. Does this really happen? Yes. Happens all the time. It's not just around Christmas. It's beggars. But yes, they come from these areas, and then what they do is they go to rich areas like Alabang and stuff like that and try to get money off the people there. But yes, they do. Traveling Hobo says, David Johnson, I believe getting digital prints for the FBI is the only available at certain select locations. Yeah, he stated that too. Larry Webb, Happy New Year, Steve. Meeting my fiance in Thailand. Had enough of U.S. waiting long enough to see my lady. Let's see. R. Kirby says, I mean low stress when I am there. Even after using her for the SRV or doing stuff like getting AC installed, getting someone to do it for me and not tried. If you move to my area, I'll help you with all that stuff. We help all the expats over here get all that stuff. I'll hook you up with everything you need. When you come here, I help all the expats here. I just tell the expats that, help other expats to come in. If I help you, then just help another expat that comes into our area, and bring him around and show him the ropes and stuff like that. It doesn't take that much. It takes about a month to get somebody situated, totally, Get them to know their doctors and stuff like that. I show them everything, and I give them show them all the different things to save the money and everything. Philip Jones says, using Mary Rose can Can the documents be emailed or do the originals need to be mailed to her? Now, if you're using Mary Rose, usually what happens is she picks them up at the quarantine hotel or when you get here. Okay, she picks them up there, the originals, and she gets them that way. But in the beginning, if you're going to get the EED, you start mailing her you email her the pictures, and she gets your EED started, and then you can get your 9A. But when you get here, she gets those documents off you, all the stuff on her list. Okay, I hope that answers you. Philip, if you need help with that, again, you can call me on my phone number, but email me at steven5975 at yahoo.com and ask me for my phone number if you want to talk, if you want to chat. I'll help you through the whole process, and ask me for Mary Rose's information too, okay? And I'll help you through everything. So, and that goes for anybody out there that's listening. We have 110 people on here right now. Anybody out there need help getting an SRRV or getting the EED to get in here. That's what this channel is about, okay? And not just that, it's about teaching people and training people on how to survive in the Philippines and doing well and successfully. You know, but we'll help you, especially if you come into my area. I can assist you, getting places and things like that. I can help you do all that stuff. You know, we've done it with many people. We have people from Alaska coming here, everywhere. California, we got one from California right now. We have a guy from Kuwait, a U.S. / British citizen. So let's see. BJ says, "Hello, Steve. Happy New Year. How you doing, BJ?" Jeffrey Mueller says, "Steve, what happens when your batch is approved?" When your batch is approved for the EEDs, then you can get your 9A and you can come in. Okay, and it takes about a week, usually, give or take a week. How much longer does it take? Mary Rose, and you have been very helpful. Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, it doesn't take long. Once your batch is approved, it's quick. Okay, because it's just a matter of getting your 9A. Okay, then once you get your 9A, you're in like Flynn. So you'll be doing good. Let's see. "808 says, Bill Murdoch, I like Jack Daniels. Roy Jones, how your search for moving going? Actually, I stopped looking. Okay, I'm thinking about staying here. We have a lot of expats that are moving to this area, and I don't want to leave them hanging here. I'd have to travel over here, so I'm going to stick around here for a while longer. If I do move, it wouldn't be far. It would only be like 15 minutes away or something like that from them. But I'm okay living here, and it's cheap, and I have a lot of friends and family here, and it would be kind of sad to move because I have my godchild right next door, and that's part of it. I would want her close by because I really enjoy having her around. She makes my day every day. Let's see. Cadiz Wilmo says, Happy New Year, Steve. What's your New Year resolution? I actually didn't come up with a New Year's resolution. I'm quite happy here and content here. You can probably hear the fireworks off in the background here. DRB166, generally speaking, private hospitals demand payment before you leave. Yes, they do. Some insurance accepted public hospitals just require you to be a homeowner, which means you need to be married to a native. Yes, they have some weird rules here, some places. Coin777 says, would it be worth trying to get a place in Bohol early? Maybe. It's housing in some sections that got hit by the typhoon is rough right now. So if you're going to move to those areas, I would start looking now, try to get something decent. Or stay out of those areas for a year and just let them come back, Let's see. Peter Harding says, can you contrast cost of living differences between Cavite and Subic and Baguio? Wow. Cavite is a lot cheaper than those areas, I can tell you that. Subic's a lot more expensive than here. I'm not sure how much more. Baguio is the same thing. It's a little bit more expensive up there. There are some cheap sections there too, and it's cooler there at night, so you can sleep. But yes, the Cavite province area, especially the southern portion of it, is a lot cheaper for rentals, and there's a lot of, the food even seems to be cheaper, and the restaurants seem to be cheaper here. And as you travel north, it gets more expensive. I'll just say that. It's kind of like a bubble here. It's kind of like untouched. It's starting to get touched a little bit now with inflation, but still, it's really, really nice here. Let's see, we got 115 people, 85 thumbs up. Philip Jones says, speaking of commercials, last week you had a 20-minute vlog, and the commercial was 28 minutes. That's pretty bad, man. I don't expect you to watch those 20-minute commercials, guys. You know, if you see a 20-minute commercial, just go right by. I know I tell you to try to watch my ads if you can. I don't expect anybody to watch a 20-minute commercial. You know, if you watch the short ones that are like a minute or 30 seconds or something like that, that's fine. You know, I don't expect anybody to watch those infomercials or anything like that. So don't worry about that, guys. I had somebody ask me, say, Steve, do you want us to watch those long ones? Do you get extra for that? No. Just flip by them. Don't worry about it. You know, but if you can watch the short ones, it's appreciated, because we do make money off of that. Jeannie Torres says, Happy New Year, Sir Stephen. How you doing, Jeannie? It's good to see you on here, hon. DRB166 Bubblehead. I wanted that, but I am partially colorblind, so I was rejected. Target MM here. Let's see. Carl Anderson says, I showed my girlfriend those videos from the house that's being renovated, and we might check the area out once I get back there. Any nice resorts there that you can recommend for a 2 or 3 day stay? Yes. Tanza Oasis is a nice resort, okay? And there's also Bayleaf, which is right in General Trias that you can stay at. I think it's in General Trias. Das Marina. Either in Das Marinas or General Trias. I think it's in General Trias. Anyway, it's Bayleaf Hotel. It's not a resort, but it has a pool and stuff like that there. But if you want to go to Tanza Oasis, that's a nice little like small resort that's kind of cute. But if you're gonna check out homes at Florida Sun, let me know, Carl, at Steven5975 @yahoo.com, and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Sorry, Cases, I like to move to your area with a reasonable price to rent. Sorry, Case, I can help you also. Anybody on here, Steven5975 @yahoo.com, and when I see places, I'll vlog them. We actually have 2 available in 2 months. If you're looking for a reasonable place, but there are roosters and dogs in the area a little bit. You know, it's a typical Filipino neighborhood, but there's a lot of expats over there too. There's going to be 3 expats at that section within 100 feet of you, which is kind of nice. So just FYI. The Traveling Hobo says Davao is always on the top 5 list of safest cities in the sea. Yes, it's a very safe city, but the rest of Mindanao is kind of sketchy sometimes in some spots. Carl Ensman says 14 months to go. I still retire. Till I retire. 2022 will be a good year. There we go. That's good, man. BJ says thumbs up, everyone. Let's see, we got 89 thumbs up, 122 people on here. We're doing good tonight. Let's see. I love Davao City. We were gonna shorten this, but I mean we're doing pretty good tonight. It's like we'll stay on like another 5 or 10 minutes. I'll answer some more questions here. Let's see. Philip Jones says, when getting a background check for SOFA status of forces agreement, they went back 10 years. It took about 3 months. Is that the same kind of background check? I'm not sure what you're talking about with this stuff. Let me get it back. Status of forces. A background check, they're talking about like an FBI thing. You're talking about for the SRRV. That's an FBI background report, or it can be a police check. It doesn't have to be anything special. It can be your local police department gives you a police background check, or it can be the FBI. It doesn't really matter. I think that's what you're asking about. Red Ranger says Davao has a lot of bombings. I have been there during 2 bombings, and one they set off in a movie theaters in 2 malls at the same time. And then they had a bus terminal that killed 7. That's kind of sad, man. That's why I don't like Mindanao. It just, you know, I know some people like it. I tell people stay in the top half of the Philippines and you'll do better. Just be safe, you know. Why have to worry about stuff like that? Zura says, I am sure all the good that you offer and do will go back to you. Thank you, man. You are true good and most helpful person in my experience. Thanks, man. Thanks, sir. I really appreciate that, man. Let's see. Philip Jones says message retracted and they removed the comment. I know I didn't remove it, so I can honestly tell you that. That's kind of strange. I've removed nobody tonight, so I can tell you that. Roy Jones says, how recent were those bombings? I'm not sure. Maybe the other guy can answer that. Charles Reed says, Happy New Year from Chile, Utah. There we go. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. Guys should consider getting a cheap mobile home in like Florida or something. Winter in Florida and go back to the Philippines for 5 or 6 months. That's actually not a bad plan in some cases. Maintaining medical in the U.S. and no maintenance in trailer park. Yeah. Yep. Just get a small trailer. Just a little camper trailer. You can put it on a campground. Roy Jones, thank you. Traveling Hobo. Let's see. Jessica, Angelo, Happy New Year, Steve. I'm waiting for my boyfriend from UK, almost 1 year until now, hoping that he can come in, if possible, next month. Maybe. I think maybe within the next 3 months, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say in the next month, but I think in the next 3 months. Red Ranger, the bombing was in 2010. That's a long time ago. In 2013, they did have a night market bomb a couple years ago. I think it killed a few. My source telling me Duterte has paid off terrorist groups to lay low as of late. I don't know about that. I know he has some kind of treaty with some of them or something like that. I'm not sure, though. Manila's finest rapid fire replies to comments. You're good. Thanks, man. Philip Jones. I plan to live in Luzon to start because I've been there over 20 times. I have 6 Filipinos I worked with in Korea for 3 years. They have been great friends and will be my support. You know something? Filipinos, honestly, are the best friends that you could ever have. You know, I have so many Filipino friends here, and I love the Filipinos here. My friend Pax he's one of my best friends here, and now I got Kenny here. I got a lot of friends here. You know, I mean, unbelievable. We have a lot of good expats coming and a lot of good expats here already. Northwest Mindanao from CDO and the East is safe for pale-skinned people. Muslim wars are over. Bhutan is nice, 300K population too. I live in Prosperidad, Agusan del Sur. Okay. Paul G says, Steve, what is your email address again? My email address is Steven, with a V, 5975 at yahoo.com. Steven, with a V, 5975 at yahoo.com. Okay? And you just ask me whatever you want. If you want my Philippine phone number, my American phone number, or you want to talk to me on Messenger, I can give you the Messenger link too. Okay? Whatever you need, I'll send it to you. And then we can talk. Just call me in the evening Manila time though. Okay? Let's see. DRB166, my message retracted just means I misspelled something. Oh, okay. Gary Higgins, do you think Philippines will require the medical chip implant to prove your vaccine? No. Nope. Never happened. Traveling Hobo, the theater bombing was 2013. Jack Iceman, Happy New Year to all. Steve, just want to say thanks for your informational content. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Charlie, what do you think of Ilocos area? I'm not that familiar with that area that much, you know. I'm more familiar with this area. I know Iloilo and Aklan and that area too from being down there. But I'm not that familiar with that area, to be honest with you. I can tell you everything you want to know about around the Manila area, pretty much. Philip Jones, Philip Jones, only the person sending the message can retract the message. Okay. They must have decided to remove it. Okay, that's what I thought. BJ, a mayor just got assassinated in Northwest Mindanao. And Paul G says, thanks. So guys, we're going to end that here. We're at 11:30 right now. I just want to thank you guys for watching tonight. We will be on here next week. Be sure to put the word out, guys, for other people so we can get some more people on here too. If you know any other expats that are interested in coming to the Philippines, you know, try to turn them on to coming on here to ask questions and stuff, and try to turn them on to my channel if you can. It would be much appreciated. But we'll be on here next week for more, you know, questions and answers or whatever, and just chit chat or whatever. You know, some nights we talk about things that aren't even expat stuff, and it's just kind of fun, you know, to talk on here and, you know, go back and forth. You guys can, you know, shoot me questions, or we can talk about whatever you want. I'm always open to everything. We usually open it up to everything. Sometimes it goes about COVID or whatever, but we always have fun on here. But anyway, guys, God bless, and have a happy new year, guys. Okay? And we'll see you on here next week for sure. Okay, guys? God bless. Take care.